How are you, everyone? So it was long since last time. I have been in contact with the ECG, so we have already covered the ECG basics, and we have covered some interpretations initially. So rate, rhythm, axis, voltage, P wave, PR interval, and we started in QRS last session. So today I'm going to speak initially about QRS again, just the first session, and second session I'm going to move to ST segment. Is that alright? Okay. Last time we have spoken about the QRS complex, normal variations, and we have spoken about the right bundle branch block, left bundle branch block, right ventricular hypertrophy and left ventricular hypertrophy, and criteria for all of them. And some of the criteria are actually to a bit high level, but we have simplified that to even having a low or a bit diagnostic criteria for each one of them. So today we are going to speak about something randomly about some wave itself. So Q wave, one of the most important waves in the complex. So complex is QRS. So Q wave normally is supposed to be less than one small square as a width, so wideness, and it's supposed to be not more than two small square in depth, except in lead 3, which have a normal variation of having maybe up to small square wide and up to 7 small square depth, could be. But otherwise this criteria fits. So Q one is a small square in width and at least 2 millimeter deep, or a third one of this. It means pathological. So if it is more than one small square wide, or if it is deeper than 2 small square depth, or in other words, 1/3 of its related R wave, so Q wave followed by R wave. So if, for example, R wave is 7 or 6, for example, so 1/3 of 6 is 2. So if it is more than 2 compared with the 6 of R, this is considered pathological. So if the followed R is 8, so we'll make it 9 to be easy. 9 small square, so 1/3 of 9 means 3 small square. So we can accommodate up to 3 small square in that occasion. So it is another criteria. Or generally speaking, more than 2 millimeter deep or 2 small square deep, more than 1 small square in its width. It is how we can identify Q wave. What is the significance of Q wave? Anyone knows about what's the significance? Okay, why it is important? Do you know? Presence of pathological Q wave. Because it implies MI. Q wave is equal to old MI. It's not a new one, or at least it's not just now. Maybe MI 12 hours or more can develop a Q wave. How can differentiate between a recent Q wave and the old Q wave? We know that presence of Q wave, it means MI is going on since some time. That patient might be not valid for primary PCI or thrombolysis. But is that new MI or an old MI? It's important or not? It is, yeah. Simply, recent MI, patient will have an ST elevation, after that will develop a Q wave. So, if we can see a raised and curved ST segment after the complex, it means that Q wave is just recent one, and that patient has a new MI, but maybe beyond the time of thrombolysis. If the ST segment is isoelectrical, it means it's not elevated. It means that an old MI. I'll give you an example of SGs. Isoelectrical, it means in the isoelectrical line of the ECG. What is the isoelectrical line of the ECG?
It's an imaginary electrical sort of baseline for where your complexes come resting to before they reach the next phase.
Okay, so it is the line we compare things up and down.
Yeah.
That's fine. But we cannot tell it is imaginary. We cannot imagine it because we need to put it true. Then we can compare. Otherwise, it will be a matter of personal variation. I can imagine it here. I can imagine no. So it is the line between the previous T wave and the coming B wave of the next beat. So TB is isolated. So we compare any segment after, or any up and down deviation in any area in the second or following complex beat. We compare it with the previous TB line. This is our isolated one. Okay. Why I'm telling that? Because some people they compare ST by the previous PR, which is wrong. They usually do it. But sometimes, as we discussed in BR, we have discussed it, BR can have an elevation and depression as well. So it's unfair to compare it with the BR because it is still, it's not an isolated gap. It can deviate. And I'm going to repeat it again, that lecture. Not that lecture, next one. Which is today. Okay. This slide is an old slide. I have shown it to some other colleagues previously. It's just the location or how we can tell what is the location of infarction in comparison with the leads. So lead 2, 3 and AVF, they are inferior leads. Lead 1, AVL and 5 and 6, they are lateral leads. V1 and V2 septum, V3 and V4 anterior. Anterior of what? Left ventricle. Lateral of what? Left ventricle. Inferior of what? Left ventricle. So actually, ST segments all over here shows only the left ventricle. Didn't show the right ventricle and didn't show the posterior portion of the left ventricle. It shows only inferior, lateral, anterior, and septum. So right ventricle is not shown here, and posterior portion of the left ventricle, we cannot see it here. But we have clues to guess something is going wrong with them. Then we can change our leads and can look at them. Is that all right? So I'm sorry for that photo is blurred, but this is what I got in mind because I have lots of ECGs, but at least it shows what I need to tell. Can we see the QRS over here? There is a Q wave. It's white and this deep, maybe 6, 7. Can you see the ST after it? It's curved and elevated. I'm sorry for the photo. Can we see the same here? Q wave, ST, Q wave, ST, Q wave, ST. Can you see it? Which tells us this patient is having an MI recently, but not in the window of thrombosis. I understand. It means maybe he came late, maybe 12 hours or something like that. So it started to develop the Q wave, but the ST elevation is still in place, going down. Is that all right? Then example of the Q wave again. If you can see here the Q wave, is that pathological? It is deep? Is that right? Deep. What about the ST segment? It's flat, it's okay? So it's an old or new? It's an old one. Same way in AVF, A3. So I can imagine that patient, he had an inferior MI, but he had, not he has. Okay? Oh, okay. Okay. So he had, but not at the moment. Okay, good. Another example. The Q wave. Not exactly, but I will close my eyes. Why? Look, I can see small R. Can you see this small?
Yeah.
It's not supposed to be there. But I just give you an example. Okay? So this Q wave, but the ST segment is not elevated. It means an old one. That lead is V1 and V2 represent septal. So that patient had a septal infarction before. Okay.
What other condition will have Q wave? Like as you mentioned, apart from an old MI in 2-3 AVF, as you mentioned, what other conditions we can normally see a Q wave in 2-3 AVF?
We can see in 3, as just mentioned earlier,
Okay.
normal variation. We can see Q wave in 3,
Okay.
which can be as wide as 1 small square and as deep as 7 small squares,
Okay.
which can consider be normal. But if it came with other leads who in the inferior leads, it means came with the 2, for example, or 3, or all of the 3
Yeah.
has been involved, it means it is pathological.
Okay.
But athlete 3 alone is not pathological. Could be a normal variation.
Okay.
Okay. As a general rule, any single lead shows an Q wave or ST changes is not diagnostic for MRI, because we need to have more than one. It means 2 or more changes in leads who can represent an artery or represent. It makes sense. It means I cannot take lead 2, which represents the inferior, and V1, which represents septum. Doesn't make sense, isn't it? So same artery involved, more than one, it means 2 and more, we can understand we have an issue here.
Yeah.
Except one, which is EVR. I'm going to speak about EVR today. Is the only you can find an ST segment elevation and MRI, which is not actually discussed frequently by people. I'm going to discuss about it. Fantastic one and a good one. Okay. As other abnormalities of the complex, presence of tall R wave. In the previous lecture, we have discussed these issues. So I can find a tall R wave in a thin chest wall man or a normal variant, but not more than the following S wave. So can have R wave, but not as much or more than the following R wave, as I told you pathological one. Right bundle branch lock can have a tall R wave in V1, but we noticed that the slurred S wave in lead 1 and V5 in lead, which is a lateral leads. I have discussed that last lecture. The third cause is right ventricular hypertrophy, and you can tell that that criteria is not there. And the complex here is wide, here is narrow. Low placement of leads, that means if V1 is supposed to be at the 4th intercostal space, and by mistake has been placed down, so R wave in V1 can be long or tall. Is that alright? This one I have discussed before, it's just elevation, but the next slide is another causes of tall R wave. We haven't discussed before in R wave. We have discussed before WBW, but not in complex issue. We have discussed in the PR interval because it has a short PR, one of its criteria to have a short PR less than 3 small square, with the delta wave, which is the upsloping of the R wave. Can you see the upsloping here? Can you see that? This is it's a criteria of WW. But I have brought it here because it has a tall R wave similar to other causes of tall R wave in V1. We have 2 different types of WW, type A and type B. It depends about where is the pathway. Back to the pathophysiology to understand. Okay, I think it's the second slide. It will make it easy. Okay, thank you. Usually, SA node gives the impulse to the atria of the right side, then the atria to the left side simultaneously, and goes to the AV node. When it relies there for some time, then goes to left and right bundle branch, then to the population. It's normal. In that situation, we have a bypass track other than the AV node when the impulse actually go through. What's the problem of that? There's a big issue, in fact. Why? It is a quick one because that one had a characteristic feature of delaying the impulse to allow the blood to come through the valve, then ventricle can be excited. But it's not going to happen now, and the impulse is going to be going through here simultaneously. It's going to be through here as well. Is that okay? As you can see here, it's going from both sides. Okay? So what will happen here, when it comes here early, it means the PR segment is actually a delay, which is happening here. It's not going to be there because it's passing through here. So the R wave will start so early. You got it? And then it start to upslope, and following the you can tell the excitation comes from the AV node. They will join together at the arm of the R wave, then they complete the QRS. That's why you have the upsloping one. Did you get it? So, what's the difference between type A and type B in WW? type A is a left ventricular pathway. So the pathway or the track we have is exciting the left ventricle first. It means we can tell the whole. Okay, the whole escaping the impulse is left side. So it goes to excite the left ventricle first, then the right. That's why we have the tall arrow in V1, V2. The other type, the track is in the right ventricle. So V1, V2 will be down, not up, negative. That's the only difference, but otherwise the same principle. Again, just to understand it. This is what I was just explaining earlier. So this is normal. The delay here gives us a chance for the BR segment or BR interval, but it came quick here, that's why it came early. Then they join each other there at that junction and complete the complex. That's why we'll have a wide complex, which is not actually wide if you understand the principle, because if that one is not there and the other wave is supposed to start here, did you understand?
What's the danger with it, Wolfpack? It's a light.
The danger if pre-excitation, so patient can go for like SCVT, like tachyarrhythmia. We're going to discuss about all of tachyarrhythmia later at the end of the course, but it's good to mention that in between, then you can build up the knowledge. So it gives a very big issue about tachyarrhythmia, and this has an issue also about how medication or what medication are going to choose, because most of medication we use SCVT to block the AV node. In this situation, if we block the AV node, the patient is dying. Because the issue is not the AV node, the patient is here.
Excessive.
Yeah, okay, so it's tricky a bit. So it's again the same ECG previously, just to have a quick look with a positive one. I'm not going to give an ECG for the other type B, it's type 1 or type A, because I'm just discussing tall R waves in V1 and V2, which is abnormal. There. Another tall R wave, as I told you, in V1, V2, is the presence of posterior infraction. I just mentioned earlier, we do not have posterior leads. We have inferior, we have lateral, we have anterior, we have septal. Is that right? But we don't have posterior, but we have clues. The presence of R wave, tall R wave in V1, V2 up to V3 even with T segment depression give us a clue about the presence of posterior infarction. It's common with inferior infarction. So when we get an inferior infarction, you can just see it here. When we see an inferior infarction, with that picture in V1 and V2, we need to understand that patient having a posterior involvement or not. Some patients can come with posterior only without inferior, that's fine. What we have to do here, two things. The first one, to catch that ECG in our hand, rotate it, get a mirror image. It means rotate, then someone to look from back. I have done it. But just to understand, I have done it. Okay. I rotated it, then I swap it this way. What can you see here? Typical ST elevation in this, the same leads was Q wave. Can you imagine? So it if we got a mirror of that ECG, we can see an elevation, which is one of the clues. We have to test it ourselves. Other step, that one is not an ECG. It is the same ECG. Hold in our hand. We just rotate it and yeah. So we just get the face to back, then 180 degree. Then we can see that picture. Okay. What else we can do? We need to see the leads of posterior. Yes. So what we do, usually V1 to V6. V6 ends at the posterior axillary line at the fifth intercostal space. So from that place to our mid spine, we can place 3 leads, 7, 8, and 9, and it's supposed to show the posterior one. Then we can see the elevation, which we need to see it, which we call it posterior lead.
So you just move your last 3 ECG electrodes to the back.
You can do so, yeah. Just move them as we did here. So we left that to show the same, and we left V4, V5 to 6. We moved them back, so it became 7, 8, and 9. Now we can see the elevation. Tricky one, but always suspect if you have R wave tall with east segment depression, especially if you have an infiltration. Okay? Fantastic one, but I have to mention because it is one of the differential. Okay? You can close your eyes, close your ears, but I have to mention it. Again, another cause of tall R wave is hypertrophic cardiomyopathy, which before we call it HOCM, but that abbreviation has been removed, which is hypertrophic obstructive cardiomyopathy. It's not that I think for 10 years now that maybe that term we use hypertrophic cardiomyopathy, which is actually a septal hypertrophy more than the hypertrophy of the left ventricle itself, and it usually closes the outlet of the left ventricle near the aorta, so it causes syncope like aortic stenosis. It gives syncope, that's all. ECG finding is just tall R wave in V1 and V2 more than S wave, or R on S more than 1, okay, as a ratio, with Q in V5 and V6 and V4. The criteria of hypertrophy. Why Q? As we agreed last session, I'm sorry because some of you were not there, but I will just repeat the information, that Q wave in V6 look at septum, R wave in V6 look at left ventricle, S wave in V6 look at right atrium. That's why when we spoke about right ventricular, right bundle branch block, we saw wide slurred S wave in V5 and V6 because it represents the right. So Q wave in V5 and V6 usually represents the septum excitation, and septum is hypertrophic here. That's why it came hard. R wave can represent septum. Even at right bundle branch block, we see RS, R dash. The first R is septal excitation. The R in V1 is right ventricular, is left ventricular excitation, and the R dash is right ventricular excitation because it came late. So the first R is septum. That's why it is high here. Just a quick review. If you can see previous lecture, it will maybe easier. It's okay? It's not important that much, but something to know. Okay. To that level, any questions? Is that was clear? Thank you. Stop this.